Welcome to the Actually I Can Female Entrepreneur podcast. I am your host, Kayleigh Greenacre, a business strategist, coach, TEDx speaker, author, and your go-to woman for all things business strategy. I am obsessed with supporting female entrepreneurs to grow unstoppable six and multi-six-figure businesses that they love, giving them the freedom and life that they desire. During this podcast, I'll be sharing with you everything that you need to become a successful female entrepreneur, from the mindset shifts to sales and marketing strategies, and how to become an iconic leader that people can't get enough of. It is my mission to help you stand out, attract your dream clients and customers, and sell out of your offers with ease whilst building the business and life of your dreams. Let's make this your reality, ladies. Hello, ladies, and welcome to another episode of Actually I Can, the Female Entrepreneur podcast. And I'm joined today by the fabulous Chloe-Ann Collins, who is an identity coach for ambitious business mums. And in this episode, we are going to be diving into identity and manifestation. Chloe, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
I am so excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
So what would be really good is to start the podcast off with you sort of introducing yourself and telling our listeners a little bit more about you, your story, and your journey to how you got to where you are today.
Amazing. So yes, thank you, Kayleigh. My name is Chloe-Ann Collins. I am a mum of two, and I am the identity coach for ambitious women. So I'm also known as the motivation mum on socials, and essentially I coach and mentor ambitious women who feel stuck and misaligned, but that they are made for bigger. So we reconnect and reactivate their next level identity so that they can become the woman who can manifest the career, the business, and the life that they know they're made for, and expand their identity to hold that next level of success that they're calling in. And we're going to talk a lot about how you can do that today. So I'm really, really excited.
Amazing. Thank you so much for giving a bit of an intro. So let's dive into this, because I know that this is a topic that I've wanted to bring onto the podcast for a long time. And I know we had a conversation, didn't we, last week? And I said, Chloe, you need to come on. Let's dive into this.
Yes.
So there's this whole concept around manifestation and around identity work and things as well. And I think what would be really good, first of all, is to just explain and to dive into what they actually mean. What is identity and manifestation?
So, yeah, I think this is such a good question because people get so confused with both of them. So if I start with identity, identity is who you believe you are at your core. It's not just your name, your job title, how much money you make, the car that you drive, like how you validate yourself externally. It's who you believe you are at your core. So it's those deep-rooted beliefs, stories, and standards that you hold for yourself. And the way I like to explain it is, if you think about it like, I'm not good with money, I'm a procrastinator, like I'm somebody that like these things don't happen to me. These are all kind of identity statements, in the same way that people make statements like, I'm a confident leader, I am someone that like always figures it out. So whether they are empowering or whether they're limiting, they're still subconsciously shaping who you are and how you show up, and therefore the action that you take. And that's the reason why identity matters so much, because you will always act in alignment with who you believe you are. And if you don't believe you're the kind of woman that can be successful, no matter how many strategies you try, and believe me, I love a strategy, but they won't stick. And that's why your identity is like that energetic foundation for everything that you are going to create. So that's kind of like identity in a nutshell. Manifestation is the process that you use with your identity to bring something from your mind into your actual reality through your thought, through your energy, your identity, your intention. So it's not just magic. It's not just, okay, I'm going to think about it and it's going to happen. Like, everyone is always manifesting. Not everyone's doing it consciously. But it's knowing what you want, knowing why you want it, believing it's possible for you, and embodying the version of you that already has it. And like taking the aligned action, the intentional action to move towards it, not with pressure, not with force, but with intention, intentional action. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm really excited.
Oh, I love this. Thank you so much for giving some clarity around that as well, because I think it's really important. I think, like I said, the manifestation phrase or word, should I say, is thrown around an awful lot. And there's
Yes,
the different, misconceptions around it, I believe, as well. And I think identity, I know how powerful identity work is, and
of
the
course.
full embodiment and all of those things. I know we'll dive into this in more depth. But I think it's really good to just get that clarity for everyone listening as well. If you're uncertain, unsure of identity manifestation work, like this is the episode to listen to. Chloe Ann's going to help you and support you with this to make sure that you can manifest the incredible things that you desire and that you want. But obviously there's work, there's techniques, there's tools, there's strategies that obviously will support people with that. So what I want to dive into, or what I would love to talk to you about, is this whole concept of embodying the version of yourself. I know that you're a firm believer that this is really powerful, and especially before you start to manifest anything. So how does identity shape the manifestation process compared to actually, actions or strategies that you do?
So when it comes to strategy, like most people will focus on that. Most people focus solely on strategy and action, but manifestation doesn't start with action. It starts with you, your identity, because your identity is going to shape everything else. Your beliefs, your energy, your decisions, your habits, and like what you're energetically available for, what you can hold. So think about it as if you're trying to manifest something you want something, but you're not aligned with that. For example, like how many of you have tried to manifest something that's not coming into fruition, but have you ever thought, but if this actually happened, am I ready for this? Can I hold this? Am I the version of me that would be able to have that amount of clients or that opportunity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So think about what it is that you're trying to manifest, because you don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. So when we say embody the version of you before the manifestation comes in, we're saying become the woman who already has the result, which a lot of people struggle with because they think, well, I don't know who that person is. And that's why I'm so excited for today's conversation, because if you're thinking about, for example, if you're in business and in the industry, there's loads of talk on like whatever K month, 10K month. So the first thing people think is, oh, okay, what's the strategy? What do I need to do? What offer shall I sell? How many clients do I need? And like those are valid questions. I love strategy. Like, of course, there is strategy behind business. You'll know that. But what beliefs do you hold about yourself deep down? Do you believe that you're not the kind of person who makes that much? Maybe like this is why money mindset work is really, really important as well. Who am I to charge that? Will it work for me? Like all this kind of stuff is what will subconsciously be blocking you from calling in and magnetizing your next level. So it's great to do all the techniques, make your box, make your vision board, be really intentional, but you have to build it off the foundation of your identity, which is like, I believe that this is possible for me. Like, and that's that faith and trust part, because your beliefs influence how you show up. And even if you're telling yourself, consciously, I believe it, subconsciously, people will feel it if you don't. You'll undercharge, you'll feel nervous about putting your prices up, maybe you'll second guess yourself, you'll avoid showing up on social media, maybe opportunities you wouldn't put yourself forward for because there would be fear. So it's all that kind of thing that is going to contribute towards it.
Amazing and fascinating. And I completely understand and appreciate how important this work is. And, for our listeners, just all around that embodiment and really understanding number one, who you are as an individual, sorry. And number two, like fully embodying that version of you of who you want to become. And like you said, you know, lots of things are thrown around in the online space of, you know, the 5K, the 10K months, the hitting 6, 7, whatever figures in your business. But I think actually all of the work, no matter what your goal is, what success looks like to you, this is the fundamental part before strategy, before the actions. Because if we don't get this right, we'll never be able to get those results right in the first place.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I love this. I love this so much. So for those listening to this podcast then thinking, okay, so we've got to do some identity work. I understand what Chloe's explains on here. What would you say then is, it doesn't have to be the most powerful, but are there any powerful identity shifts that someone can make when they want to kind of step into that next level as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So what I always like, the first thing that I always say is shifting like your identity, your self-talk, even the words that you're consciously using from like, oh, I hope I can do this identity of I hope it all works out, to like, I am the woman who can, like, I don't need the evidence. I know this will work. Because I think a lot of the time people have fear of failure, fear of what it will mean about them and their identity. Again, that comes from deep-rooted beliefs, stories that you tell yourself. If it doesn't work out, it's going to validate that story that I'm not good enough. Like all of this kind of work that we all know. But I think the key part to know here is like, this work is never done at every single level. And you'll know this as well, Kayleigh, like as your business grows and expands at every level, there's new fears, there's new doubts. That's why identity is like a constant evolution. But the shift is about ownership. It's about not outsourcing your worth to things like followers, likes, income, dips, like client results, people leaving, people ghosting you in the DMs, all of those things. Who are you when nobody buys? Who are you when someone decides to not continue on with your coaching or doesn't want to join your program? Like, who are you in those moments? What do you make it mean about you? Because when you can start leading with confidence, you're going to make decisions from the version of you that has the results, not from the version of you that's in fear of not getting it. So, like, that's probably the biggest thing, shifting your identity from like, I hope, I'm scared, I wonder if, to like, I am the woman who can, I know I can do this. And like not needing proof to believe in yourself. Like belief follows action. You don't have to believe before you do it. Belief follows action. And trust yourself that if you're on this journey, you haven't come this far to only come this far. So just know that if it doesn't work out, you will figure it out no matter what. It's no win or lose, it's win or learn. So trust yourself.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. Do you know what? It's really interesting because you know how you're sort of saying there that shift the belief, shift the mindset, do the work there in regards to thinking, oh, I hope I can get this to, I can achieve it or I can get it. It reminds me of something that I introduced. I actually put this in my book when I wrote my book back in 2021, but it's something that I used to use with my GCSE and A-level students when I used to be a teacher. And I used to have this staircase of 10 steps and it was all around growth mindset. And I know it's connected and linked to identity work. But at the bottom of the stairs, it would be like, oh my goodness, I cannot get this. I cannot pass this GCSE and A level. And at the very top is, I've already done it. I've smashed it. And in between, there's obviously all those different steps. And I used to use that consistently with students. And then I implemented it into the business and for entrepreneurs back in 2021. And it's incredible because I think when you look at it from that perspective as well, when you think, well, that's where I want my belief to be for this, and you know where I want to get to with the actions that I take as well. This is kind of where I feel that I am at the moment, and a lot of people would say, you know, they're in step like 1, 2, or 3, and I think it's about having that full embodiment and belief, so should I say, that full belief that actually you can do this. And that's exactly why my business is called Actually I Can. You
Yes.
can do this, like. and claim it, own it. You know, like you said, take the actions that are going to help you get there, but believe that you've already got it, and really fully embody that. And I think it really, really does help, because I think the more that we stay in this kind of stage of, oh, you know, I hope, or I really hope someone reaches out to me after I post that story, or
Yes.
I wish I could get as many clients as that person signing, just as an example, you're automatically putting yourself into victim mentality and not actually being able to see that actually you can do this. You can actually do this quite easily, but you need to do
Yeah, and like that's lack frequency. That's like, I don't have this, they have it. And that's where you create those stories, isn't it? Like they have all the clients, you're triggering yourself with other people online. They've launched again and you've not launched, like all of the things that go through our head. But the most successful people I see are not the ones that never feel fear. They're the ones that just decide to do it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So if someone's listening to this podcast right now and they want to really begin to feel like the person or the entrepreneur that they want to be, we've talked a little bit about, tweaking your self-talk and your mindset work there that we've just sort of gone into. And I know you've sort of touched on sort of taking the actions and things as well, but is there anything that they can do to really begin to feel like that version of themselves?
Yeah, and you know what? Like with this one, I love it. I speak to my membership girls about this all the time because it's so simple that people tend to ignore the most simple things because they think that they need some really big, complicated strategy. Like there's something that they're missing. It's inside another book, inside another podcast, inside another course. And like, I love a book, I love a podcast, I love a course. Self-development is like my life. But when it comes to your identity, you can listen to the course, the podcast, but are you constantly consuming more, and never actually creating? So you listen to the podcast, you're like, this is it. This is amazing. This is great. And listen, if you're listening to this right now, like what action are you going to take off the back of this? Because when I listen to a great training or podcast or read something, I will listen again and again and again, like 5, 6, 7 times in a row. I'll listen to it and make notes. I'll listen to it on a walk because you'll take something new from it over and over again. So when it comes to practical things that you can do with identity, and you can do this no matter what level you're at, whether you're at the beginning, whether you're in the messy middle, whether you're like flying high, because this is like the work that you do over and over again. Ask yourself, who is the next level version of me?
Mhm.
And like you can't feel like her if you don't know who she is. That doesn't mean that you have to know exactly what your future looks like, but just think about like, what is my future day? What does a day in the life of my vision for my future look like? How do I speak to myself? How do I speak about my business? How do I make decisions? What do I believe about myself? What habits and boundaries do I have? Like, what energy do I walk into a room with? What's my morning routine? Like, think about all of these things because that's going to give you a really good idea of where you can start to shift small things. And don't underestimate the small things because you don't need massive milestones to feel this. You can literally listen to this podcast and take action off the back of this right now. And like I said, belief follows action. So think about that future version of you and like things like incremental upgrades. Like, are there things that you can do in your home? And like, this is great for manifestation. Small things that make you feel like the woman that you're becoming. Like, whether it's like the nice hand cream in your bathroom and like a nice bubble bath, because when you're in the bath, you're like, I'm embodying this version of me. The clothes that you wear. I don't intentionally wear blazers every single day. Sometimes I'm in my leggings and my top because I'm intentionally like cleaning my house or I'm having a fun day with the kids. Like everything I do with intention. And I think when you can do that, when you can show up with intention, that's where you start to build your beliefs and your identity because you're showing up as her before you are her.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. And in regards to this work and how they can start to really begin to become and feel like that person. What about like daily things? I know you kind of very briefly touched on some of the things, but like, are there any daily practices that people can do or that you can recommend to really support people with reinforcing that aligned identity?
Do you know what's one thing I love to do, which is a little bit crazy, but I am a little bit crazy, is I listen to like powerful music sometimes, like movie music when I'm walking. And I will do this on the way home from the school run because sometimes my mornings are so chaotic with my children to then come home and open up my laptop and be in creative mode or be coaching my clients or like writing content or writing a new program. Like there needs to be a break between that energy doesn't just come as soon as you open your laptop. Like identity is like cultivated by the action that you take. So like on my way home from that school run, I'll think, right, what do I need today? So like check in with yourself because some days I'm ready to go. Other days I'm not feeling it, but I know everybody's home from school and nursery at this time. I've got a busy weekend, whatever. We have to fit it in and we have to make it work. So, and I even used to do this when I was working alongside my corporate job as well. I would drive home with the music on. So when I do that, I'll just visualize, like the future version of me. I'll walk with intention. Am I walking onto a stage? Am I walking towards my dream life? Am I walking towards opportunities? I'm walking into the best day of my life, like whatever it is. Some days I need to walk home in silence. Like, so asking yourself, like a daily practice that I do is like, what do I need today? What do I need to give myself? Do I need to work at home? Do I need to work from a coffee shop? Do I need to go to the gym? Do I need to see a friend? Do I need to message my coach? Do I like ask yourself, what do you need? Check in with yourself because like the small things that you do, and this is the same with like how I dress. So it doesn't just come internally. If I want to get up and boss my day, best believe I'm going to get up and dress myself for the day that I want. I'm going to wear the outfit on the school run because that's who I am. I'm going to do my hair. Number one life hack, sleep in heatless curlers. Like do what you need to do. Like I fake tan, I'll go get my nails, I'll do whatever, but do what makes you feel like that version of you. So ask yourself, like, how do I need to feel today? What do I need to give myself?
That's an incredible hack, because I think it's so easy to get distracted by okay, I'm going to look at my list of things to do today, and there's literally 20 things on that list, and I know I need to tick them off. And sometimes you can literally just go into, I mean, if you're a mum and you're listening to this, it will be school run, you get back, you sit in your office or at your desk, and you crack on, you just get on with work. But actually, if you're not feeling fully aligned, if you're not feeling your most motivated self, do you know what? Brilliant hack, Chloe Ann. Honestly, incredible, because I think it's so important to check in with yourself. And like you said, I love the fact that you say, well, do you know what? If you are going to show up and be that seven-figure version of yourself, just as an example, you're going to dress like that seven-figure version of yourself. You're
Yes.
going to drink the most insane cup of coffee or make the most beautiful smoothie that's going to make you feel really healthy, and like you're going to do those things. And I think this is such an incredible hack that no one's really talked about before, is actually just check in with yourself and ask yourself, what do you need? Like, what do you
Yeah.
need to do, or what do you need? And I like the idea as well of, if you feel, you said it then and mentioned it then, if you feel like you just need to speak to your coach, or just need to speak to a friend, or just
Yeah.
need to get out the house and have some time in nature, just go and walk. Like, I think that's so important, and just such a simple thing, but actually a brilliant hack.
Yeah, don't underestimate it. Like there are like I love my home, but there are days where I'm like, I know today I need to not be at home. I need to be out. And like I know a lot of your clients are business women. Like your creativity comes from living. Like
Mm.
no matter how much you stare at the laptop, if you're not feeling inspired, Go outside, change your state. Like Tony Robbins, I love Tony Robbins. He just talks about changing your state, shifting your energy. If you can't get outside, like put some music on, dance around your kitchen, like shift your energy, do a workout, do something that's going to change your state. But I think having self-awareness, like I always say, being the woman who can is being self-aware, having self-awareness around yourself. What do I need to give myself today? Like look at your week. Like, I'll always plan my week. This is another life hack. I always plan my week. So I'm like, okay, well, this is what I've got going on this week. So who do I need to be? I need to have energy this week. I've got a lot, like maybe this is my cool week. Okay, so I need to make sure I'm prioritizing sleep. If I have dinners out with friends every single night this week, what's that going to look like in terms of my energy, my productivity, my creativity? And sometimes you don't realize that you're sabotaging yourself on those things. And actually, it's just a case of setting boundaries and giving yourself what you need. It's not that you can't do it, it's just that maybe you're a bit overwhelmed this week and you need to give yourself some time and shift things around a little bit. So I think we can spend a lot of time doubting ourselves and doubting who we are and our ability when it just comes to actually, let me just check in, take a step back for a minute and give myself what I need in order to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And this links to something else that I wanted to ask you all about sort of the doubt and the fear, because again, I think we all doubt ourselves and what we can achieve at some point on our journey. In fact, multiple times on your journey, but you're going to have those days where you let that fear creep in, etc. So when it comes to your identity and manifestation and all of this work that ultimately supports you with achieving the things you want to achieve, how do you advise that people keep going and keep on top of this if they really want to, keep their actions aligned with their identity? What can they do?
So honestly, like get used to fear and doubt because it for as long as you feel fear and as long as you feel doubt but you continue to move, like you are still growing. Fear and doubt, they're your friends. Like these guys are always going to be present for as long as you're growing, you're getting new opportunities, you're attracting new people into your world. You're always going to feel an element of those things. But the way I like to describe it is you're in the car and they're just there in the passenger seat with you. They're riding with you. They're not the ones driving. You're driving. When fear and doubt are driving, they're driving who you are, your actions that you're taking towards what you want. So they're a sign of growth, but this is another reason why identity is so important, because fear is going to pull you into the now of like, what if I fail? What if I'm judged? What if I mess it up? What if nobody buys? But identity is going to pull you back into the future that you're building. Okay, if that happened, like, is this not just data, something I can do differently next time? Does it mean anything about me and my ability? Like, I know I could go and launch something right now. The algorithm might not be algorithming. Maybe my messaging wouldn't be on point or something. But does that change my ability as a coach, as a person? No, like it's all just feedback. So identity is going to pull you back into the future that you're building and what you're creating. So you can ask yourself, like, what am I creating? Who am I becoming? And what matters most right now? What matters most right now? Because your vision should be bigger and louder than your fears. And when you can keep it bigger, it's almost like that phrase where they say the fear of staying the same is bigger than the fear of change. So fear will always be there, doubt will always be there, but let it be in the passenger seat and just know that for as long as you continue taking action and continue moving forward, you will move closer towards what you want. And there's loads of small things that you can do when you do feel fear. In the early stages, this is something I used to do, and I tell my clients to do it now. I just had like a little confidence bank in my phone of things that I did that went really well. Like when I first did my Instagram live, I literally had a rash on my chest. My voice was shaky. I was like speaking through my nose. I didn't even sound like me. Now I can do things like this with no fear at all. But there are bigger things that scare me right now, things that I didn't even know possible for me back when I started. So fear will always be present, but just keep moving in the direction of it and you'll continue growing.
I love this. Thank you so much for that advice around fear and doubt. And I like how you say it's going to be there and it's going to be in the passenger seat and you're going to absolutely work through this. I think it's, again, a different perspective and way to look at it, because actually a lot of people will see it as a no, not doing it, walk away. So it's a really good way to obviously address it and approach it, should I say. So
Yeah.
in regards to sort of practical strategies, because we've talked an awful lot and you've given some great things from a daily perspective, or what you could do on a daily basis. If you could give our listeners then just one practical strategy to embody their next level of identity, what would it be?
One practical strategy, I would say intention every single day. Like I will always start my day and I have a section in my journal for this, which is great. But it's like, who am I being today? What
No.
intention are you bringing today? What energy do I want to bring to the world today? And what does the woman I am becoming prioritize right now? So just think about setting up your day with intention, and that's the way you dress, the things you're saying to yourself. Like think about that walk home from the school run and the power music, or the intention that you set in the journal, the clothes that you get out, the morning that you have with your kids, what you're listening to. If somebody calls you that drains your energy, are you going to answer it? So just think about how you set up your day with intention. And probably I have probably one more, which I would say is have some kind of abundance practice. This has been a complete game changer for me on my journey, is practicing gratitude. And I know there's so much of this around. Do I have time to write 10 things I'm grateful for every single day? No, but I do have a habit that is when my alarm rings, I intentionally snooze it once. And on that snooze is my trigger to think about what I am most grateful for today and what's my intention for my day ahead. What do I want to create? What am I welcoming in? Like I'm expanding myself and opening myself up for abundance. So I would have an intention and a gratitude practice. And the way I do that, I don't always have time, like I said, to write things down. Sometimes my children are awake at the crack of dawn. So that one snooze is like my trigger to spend a few moments visualizing before I get out of bed. What is my intention? What am I most grateful for today? Because immediately you're setting up your day off with the like energy of I have so much. I have so much. And this is one thing that has been transformational for me. One thing I've been really good at is before I left corporate, before I had my own business, before I had any of the things that I've manifested, and I've manifested some crazy things, I always felt the energy of I have so much. I have so much abundance around me. Even when I didn't want to be in my job anymore, I realized I have so much money. It wasn't even that great of a salary, but I was like, I have so much money because it's just paying for all of the things I need in my business.
Yeah.
Or I have everything I need. Like I have so much. I have so much health. I have so much family. I have so much love. And when you can really feel into that so much part, there is so much around me. And you can start your day with that intention and that energy. Like, picture how different your day is going to be. And when you're faced with challenges like children being crazy, my children are 3 and 5, some mornings are like chaos. But when you can start with that so much energy and intention, it's going to completely change the trajectory of your day.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love this. Intention and gratitude. I love the fact that you bring in gratitude. Do you know what? On that note as well, I thought I'd share this because I picked this little hack up about gratitude a while back. Do you know, I can't even remember who shared it, but I came across it. Someone mentioned it.
Yes.
I wish I could give them credit for this, but I can't remember who it was. Anyway, and linked to that on the daily basis. And I love what you've shared there. But someone said to me, if you make a note throughout the whole year, so 365 days a year, create a note section in your phone with the word gratitude or what am I grateful for today? And every day, just write one thing.
Yeah.
And make a note. And then obviously you have that digitally, you have it there. And if you're ever having like that, again, those limiting beliefs, doubts, fears coming in, go to that and just say, wow. And you could do the same for what is one thing that I've achieved today as well. And that's as well, isn't it? But anyway, I know there's so many different things, but I really, really love what you shared there around, in the morning, intention. What is your intention for the day and what are you grateful for? And I think that's, again, a fantastic hack and a fantastic thing, an opportunity and strategy to start your day with, to really allow, every individual listening to this to embody their next level of identity, should I say, and really start to think about that. Do you know what? This conversation has been fabulous, Chloe, and I know we could talk about this for all day. It really is interesting and some powerful work, should I say, that will really help people. What is the final piece of advice that you'd like to give our listeners today?
I always struggle with final piece because I'm like, there's so much more I could say. But do you know what? Stop waiting to feel ready and start showing up and believing that it is already yours. You didn't come this far to only come this far. And the woman who magnetizes and attracts, she doesn't wait for permission. She doesn't wait for external validation. She doesn't wait for the results. Remember, belief follows action. She decides, she aligns her identity, she's intentional, and she becomes the woman who can do it. So stop waiting. Now is your time. And this podcast is your sign.
Absolutely. Great piece of final advice for our listeners. Chloe, it's been an absolute pleasure. Where can our listeners find you and connect with you?
Oh, it has been amazing. Thank you so much. You can find me on social media. My name is Chloe Ann Collins and I am at The Motivation Mum.
Amazing. All of the links and all about Chloe and her bio are in the show notes. Go and connect with her over on Instagram. Say hello.
Say hi.
It's been an absolute pleasure, darling. Thank you so much for coming on the episode.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone who's joined us for today's episode. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And I'll see you all again next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Actually I Can Female Entrepreneur Podcast with me, your host, Kayleigh Greenacre. If you are ready to build, grow, and scale your dream six-figure or multi-six-figure business, then head to our website now for more information or connect with me on socials to see how you can create your dream business and dream life.